Good evening, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for January 17, 2024. And in the news this evening, Trelawney shopkeeper gunned down in home invasion and attempted arson. A woman died of gunshot injuries on Tuesday after gunmen invaded her home, opened a fire and attempted to burn it down at a Cockburn Pen district in Clarkstown, Trelawney on Sunday. The dead woman has been identified as Cecilia Smith, otherwise called the Chubby, a 28-year-old shopkeeper. Reports are that shortly before 8 p.m., Smith locked up her dwelling and retired to bed with her 50-year-old baby father. Around 11:20 p.m., police said gunmen kicked open their front door and fired several shots, hitting Smith in her abdomen. Her child's father, who was not injured, managed to close the door. The gunmen then reportedly went to the back of the dwelling and attempted to light the house on fire. They fired several shots before leaving the scene. Police rushed to the home and took Smith to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, where she was admitted. She died Tuesday morning. 39 mm spent casings were found during the processing of the crime scene, the police said. No motive was given for the attack. Indicom probing fatal shooting by off-duty cop at Manchester bar. The Independent Commission of Investigations says it is probing the fatal shooting of Ivanhoe Stewart, 52, by an off-duty cop at a bar in Comfort in Manchester on Tuesday. Comfort is located a few miles south of Mandeville in the parish. Indicom, in a press release, said the incident occurred at a bar and lounge in the community. Indicom said the off-duty police officer reported that Stewart was a customer at the bar when the officer noticed a firearm in Stewart's hand. A reported tussle ensued when the officer stated that he attempted to disarm the man. The officer subsequently shot at the man using the seized firearm. The man succumbed to the injuries sustained. The firearm allegedly seized from the incident was a black Taurus G2C with a serial number. Indicom said the incident scene was examined by its forensic personnel and the evidential material recovered was processed and packaged. Stewart's hands were swabbed for gunshot residue. Indicom said the concerned officer provided an initial account to its team and was served with a Section 21 notice pursuant to the Independent Commission of Investigations Act 2010 to submit a statement, and an interview will be scheduled. Indicom says it has launched 8 fatal shooting investigations for January 2024. Indicom investigating fatal shooting as a police seize firearm in Shettlewood, Hanover. The Independent Commission of Investigations has launched a probe into the police killing of a man and the seizure of a firearm and ammunition in Shettlewood, Ramble, Hanover on Monday. The dead man has been identified as a 38-year-old Ricardo Davidson, otherwise called Beng, from Shettlewood district. None of the police personnel were hurt in the incident. Reports said around 3:15 a.m., members of the Hanover Operation Support Team, acting on information and in possession of a search warrant, went to Davidson's home to execute a search. On arrival, police reportedly knocked on the front door of the house, identified themselves, and called out to the occupants. Sounds of movements were reportedly heard inside the home, however no one responded. The police forcefully entered the house and went to the back room, where they were confronted by Davidson, who allegedly opened gunfire. The gunfire was returned and Davidson fell, reportedly clutching a firearm. He was immediately rushed to the Noel Holmes Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The firearm reportedly recovered from Davidson was found to be a Glock 9mm caliber pistol with a magazine containing 1 9mm round. 3 9mm spent casings and 2 5.56 cartridges were also reportedly retrieved from the house. 18-year-old implicated in $2.5 million robbery at Wholesale in Kingston. An 18-year-old man from Kingston has been implicated in the $2.5 million robbery at a Wholesale, which left his alleged accomplice dead. The incident reportedly took place on Sunday. Charged is J. Dane McCarthy of Beeston Street, Kingston 14. He was charged with shopbreaking and larceny, shooting with intent, unauthorized possession of ammunition, possession of a prohibited weapon, and using a firearm to commit a felony. His alleged accomplice, 23-year-old Marcus Madden, otherwise called the Juggist, of Matthews Lane, Kingston, was charged posthumously after he was fatally shot during the confrontation with the police. Reports from the Central Police are that about 5:10 a.m., McCarthy and Madden allegedly broke into the complainant's wholesale and stole clothing, footwear, and groceries with an estimated value of over $2.5 million. The swift action of the police led to the interception of the assailants. The police officers made efforts to apprehend the men when they were reportedly met with gunfire. The fire was returned, and after the shooting subsided, both men were seen with gunshot wounds. One mini submachine gun with 4 9mm cartridges was reportedly removed from the scene. They were taken to hospital, where Madden was pronounced dead. McCarthy was treated and released into police custody. He was charged after a question-and-answer interview. McCarthy's court date is being finalized. Reinstatement attempts by embattled Police Federation chairman halted. The Court of Appeal on Wednesday granted Assistant Commissioner of Police Andrew Lewis permission to pursue an appeal of the orders of Justice T. Carr to stay the interdiction of embattled Police Federation chairman Corporal Rohan James. The Court of Appeal also ordered that the stay of the interdiction be discharged. On November 17, 2023, the Honorable Justice T. Carr had issued a stay of interdiction of Corporal James. James and his legal representative had maintained that the effect of the stay was to reinstate him. The Court of Appeal, in discharging this order on the condition that the appeal is filed by January 31, 2024, formed the view that Lewis has a viable appeal and that the decision to interdict a member of the police force may not be amendable to a stay of proceedings order. ACP Lewis is represented by King's Counsel Peter Champagny and Nico Pagan, attorney at law. Corporal James is represented by Hugh Wildman and Duke Foote, attorneys at law. Ammunition found in front Telecom's company in Westmoreland. Several rounds of ammunition were found on the premises of a popular telecommunications company on Great George Street in Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland, Tuesday morning. No one was taken into custody or charged in relation to this seizure, which consisted of shotgun cartridges, the police said. Reports reaching the news are that around 9:20 a.m., residents saw the shotgun rounds in a garbage bin and summoned the police. Defense in Shanika Gray's murder trial compares Crown's case to garbage truck. The Crown's case is like a garbage truck carrying garbage down a hill. That's how the lawyer representing the man accused of killing 15-year-old Shanika Gray in 2017, Gregory Roberts, described the case against his client. The claim was made by attorney-at-law Leroy Equiano during his closing arguments in the St. James Circuit Court on Wednesday. Equiano, during his presentation, warned the jury to be careful of emotions and to look at the facts in the case. Equiano also cast a doubt on several witnesses called by the Crown, including a man called the Gangster and the co-accused Mario Morrison. Morrison pleaded guilty in September 2022 after entering a plea deal with the state and was sentenced to life in prison a month later. Equiano also suggested that the witness seemed to be a man who spent most of his adult life in prison. It came out in court on December 4, 2023 that Morrison was on bail when the crime against Gray was committed. He had reportedly committed a murder. Meanwhile, a photo image expert, whom Supreme Court Judge Justice Bertram Morrison had given time to secure for Wednesday's hearing, was unable to make it to court, which resulted in the defense ending its case prematurely. The image expert was expected to be the last of 4 witnesses for the defense. On Tuesday, Equiano gave notice that the defense would be making an application for Kemar Smith, a detective inspector attached to the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Branch, who in 2017 was a detective constable attached to the Forensic and the Cybercrime Department as a digital forensic officer, to be called to the stand on the defense case. Equiano told Justice Morrison that in the interest of justice, his application is twofold. The first has to do with an interpretation given of an image which he said can very strongly challenge or contradict Detective Inspector Smith's findings during his presentation to the court on December 11, 2023. The second issue has to do with several other thumbnails uncovered by Smith, which reportedly strongly contradicts his evidence. On Wednesday, Equiano pointed to discrepancies in Detective Inspector Smith's presentation, in which he told the court that thumbnails in general do not have a timestamp affixed to it. However, Equiano gave an example of thumbnails created, deleted, and later retrieved and extracted by Detective Inspector Smith from the phone of the victim, which had a timestamp, yet the one claiming to be that of Grace's body at the crime scene. This has no date and a time. The question is, why did he lie to us at the court, stated Equiano, who then added, where did he get the photo from? Did it come from any of the phones? If these are problems with the Crown's case, then we ask, where can we go from here? Questioned Equiano. Equiano also questioned that while Roberts was not conclusively implicated by DNA in the girl's death, who is the third person that the DNA results were unable to identify as having a hand in the crime. Gray, who was a grade 10 student, was found dead in Irwin St. James 3 days after she had been reported missing. She was last seen alive in Montego Bay while on her way home from the funeral of a schoolmate. Roberts and his co-accused Maria Morrison were later taken into custody in connection with the killing. The Crown is expected to start making its closing presentation this afternoon. This will allow the judge time to make his submission and instructions to the jury by next week.